Welcome to Fun Facts Daily, your source for just the good stuff. Monday through Friday, we're bringing fun facts and news you can use, all carefully curated to uplift and inform. So give yourself a break, relax, and learn something awesome in just a few minutes every day. Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in to Fun Facts Daily. I'm your host Kyle Wood. Now today we'll be learning about the ultimate Renaissance man, Leonardo da Vinci. But before we dive into his incredible life and achievements, let's warm up our brains with a little challenge. See if you can tell fact from fiction. Consider this. While movies might lead you to believe that museums have impenetrable security systems with laser grids and alarms that will sound if you even look at a painting the wrong way, when the Mona Lisa was stolen from the Louvre in 1911, it took security a day to even realize the theft had occurred. And after that, an investigation gripped the world. Police were struggling to figure out what kind of mastermind could pull off such a daring and audacious heist. Among the suspects questioned and even briefly detained by police was another towering figure in the art world, none other than Pablo Picasso. What do you think? It's a wild and fun story, but is it true? We'll investigate further and reveal the true suspects at the end of the episode. Now for our word of the day. Our word for today is polymath. A polymath is a person whose expertise spans a significant number of different subject areas, such as a person known to draw on complex bodies of knowledge to solve specific problems. Leonardo da Vinci is perhaps one of the most famous examples of a polymath in history, excelling not just in painting, but also in sculpture, architecture, music, science, mathematics, engineering, invention, anatomy, geology, cartography, botany, writing, and history. The word polymath comes from the Greek words poly, meaning many, and manthanion, meaning to learn. So a polymath is literally one who has learned many things. It perfectly encapsulates Leonardo's seemingly boundless curiosity and diverse talents. Now for today's High Five, our top 5 fun facts about Leonardo da Vinci. Number 1, Leonardo likely never ate meat and was a passionate advocate for animals. While vegetarianism wasn't common in 15th century Italy, evidence suggests Leonardo abstained from eating meat. Contemporaries noted his love for animals, and one account describes him buying caged birds from merchants just to set them free. His notebooks contain remarks questioning humanity's right to kill animals for food, aligning with a philosophy valuing all living creatures. This compassion extended beyond his diet. His anatomical studies included animals, but always with profound respect. He saw the interconnectedness of life and nature, a perspective reflected both in his scientific inquiries and his gentle approach to the animal kingdom, setting him apart from most of his contemporaries. Number 2, he wrote most of his personal notes using mirror writing. Thousands of pages of Leonardo's notebooks survive, filled with drawings, ideas, and observations. Intriguingly, much of the text is written backward from right to left, making it easily readable only when held up to a mirror. Why would he do this? The exact reason remains debated. Some scholars suggest it was a way to keep his ideas secret, especially potentially controversial anatomical or engineering concepts. Others proposed a more practical reason. Leonardo was left-handed, and writing from right to left prevented him from smudging the ink as his hand moved across the page. Whatever the reason, it adds another layer of mystery to his already complex character. Next up, Leonardo conducted detailed human dissections long before it was common practice. Centuries before Gray's Anatomy, Leonardo performed numerous dissections of human bodies to understand how they worked, producing incredibly detailed and accurate anatomical drawings. He dissected over 30 cadavers, men and women of various ages, meticulously documenting muscles, bones, the vascular system, and internal organs. His studies weren't just for art. They were pure scientific inquiry. His drawings of the heart, fetus in the womb, and skeletal structure were groundbreaking, revealing knowledge far ahead of his time. However, because his notebooks weren't published, much of this anatomical knowledge wasn't widely known until centuries later. Number 4, he designed complex machines, including flying contraptions, centuries before they were built. Leonardo was fascinated by the possibility of human flight. He meticulously studied the anatomy of birds and bats, filling his notebooks with sketches and designs of flying machines. These included ornithopters, flying machines that fly by flapping wings like a bird, and even a primitive helicopter propelled by a so-called aerial screw. While the materials and power sources needed to make these designs work didn't exist in his time, his understanding of aerodynamics and mechanics was extraordinary. His inventions weren't limited to flight. He also designed armored vehicles, sort of like a tank, hydraulic machines, musical instruments, and canal locks, showcasing his incredible engineering foresight. And our 5th and final fun fact for today, Leonardo didn't have a traditional surname. Da Vinci simply means from Vinci. Unlike many prominent figures, Leonardo didn't come from a family with an established surname. He was born out of wedlock to Ser Piero, a notary, and a peasant woman named Caterina in the Tuscan town of Vinci, or near it. Da Vinci simply signifies his place of origin. In his time, he would have typically been referred to just as Leonardo. This naming convention was common for artists and artisans. While we know him as Leonardo da Vinci today, it's a reminder of his relatively humble beginnings outside the established Florentine elite, making his rise to universal acclaim even more remarkable. Now for some news you can use, especially if Leonardo's artistic genius has inspired you. Want to improve your drawing accuracy? Try the grid method. This technique has been used by artists for centuries in various forms to create accurate reproductions or enlargements of images. You start by drawing a grid of evenly spaced horizontal and vertical lines over your reference picture. Then you draw a grid with the same number of squares, but potentially larger or smaller, onto your drawing paper. Instead of trying to tackle the entire complex image all at once, you focus on drawing the lines and shapes within each individual square, one square at a time. Breaking the image down into smaller, manageable sections makes it much easier to get the proportions and placement correct. It trains your eye to see the shapes and relationships more accurately. Simplifying the complex subjects forces you to focus on lines and shapes rather than getting overwhelmed by that whole picture. Renaissance artists like Leonardo were masters of proportion and perspective, using various tools and careful measurement techniques, including forms of sighting and potentially basic grid concepts, to transfer preparatory sketches accurately to larger works like frescoes or paintings. The grid method is a straightforward way for anyone to practice similar principles of observation and accurate reproduction, helping you tackle difficult subjects and significantly improve your drawing skills. Now for the moment you've been waiting for. Earlier, I asked, do you think Pablo Picasso was arrested as a suspect in the theft of the Mona Lisa? Believe it or not, that is an actual fact. Here's the story. The actual thief was an Italian handyman named Vincenzo Peruggia, who had worked at the Louvre and simply hid in the closet overnight, walking out with the painting under his cloak the next morning. But the investigators were baffled. A few weeks after the theft, a separate, unrelated case involving stolen Iberian statues from the Louvre came to light. A man trying to sell the statues implicated the poet Apollinaire, who in turn pointed the finger at his friend Pablo Picasso, who had bought some of the stolen pieces years earlier. Both Apollinaire and Picasso were brought in for questioning regarding the statues. Because the police were desperate for leads on the Mona Lisa, and these two prominent figures were suddenly embroiled in a Louvre theft case, albeit a different one, they were briefly considered suspects in the Mona Lisa disappearance as well. Picasso was indeed questioned and greatly frightened by the ordeal, though both were quickly cleared of involvement in the painting's theft. Perugia kept the Mona Lisa for 2 years before being caught trying to sell it in Florence. So, while Picasso wasn't the main suspect and was involved due to a different crime, he was questioned and briefly suspected in connection with the missing masterpiece. Now, I hope you enjoyed this episode learning about the incredible Leonardo da Vinci, and be sure to tune in tomorrow for even more fun facts. Fun Facts Daily is an Airwave Media podcast. It was written, recorded, mixed, and edited by me, Kyle Wood. Thanks for sharing a part of your day with me. Be sure to follow Fun Facts Daily on your favorite podcast app so you can keep the good stuff coming your way every day. And if you like the show, please do me a favor and leave a kind rating, review, or just tell your friends about it.